Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back. So, I'd like to share something with you guys. You guys know there's nothing in this for me. Other than helping you, I literally have no reason to be here. Okay? YouTube does nothing for me. All right? So, if you guys don't like what I share, you're welcome to unsubscribe and leave. Because again, I'm not here. There's nothing here for me. I don't give a crap if you listen to me or not. Now, here's a point though I'd like to share with you. I'm exposing these gurus right in front of your face. Benny Benny proved his actions to you. Benny is refusing to talk to me. That means he has something to hide. And I was nothing but respectful and courteous to him. He very clearly showed you he has something to hide because he won't talk. I would expose him and rip him a new one in 2 seconds. Okay? He's not even man enough to talk, even when I was completely courteous. Second, he told you in that video yesterday that God told him those things. Any of you guys who are a Christian and understand faith, you can very clearly see what he shared you was not of God because it didn't even line up. Okay? It didn't even come together. When he made those claims in faith, he completely lied to you. Okay? And then all that information he shared with you, he claimed all that was factual and it was nothing but opinion, guys. You guys don't realize it, but when these gurus mix their work with money, they're conning you. I've proved Frank 26. Frank 26, I've already showed you he's still in Intel. He was stealing intel from Pimpy and myself last year, and he's still stealing intel from me now. Okay, Frank 26 steals intel and sells it on his pay chat, and I've already shown you Benny's not even man enough to talk. Okay, that's because he has something to hide. If you guys can't see that I'm exposing these gurus to you, hey, whatever. Again, I don't care if you listen to me though, because there's nothing here for me. I don't care if you leave. I don't care if you stay. But I'm not changing what I do. So again, if you don't like it, you are more than welcome to leave because I'm not here to cater to you. Okay? You guys know I show that you guys the utmost respect, but I'm not here to shine your shoes. So if you don't like what I do, you're more than welcome to unsubscribe because I'm not going anywhere and I'm not catering to you and I'm not changing what I do per your request. I'm doing what I do and I will expose these clowns and I will take them down. Okay? If you don't like it, you're more than welcome to leave. All right? Okay, guys, we've got some good articles here. Let's look at these. First article: political agreement to pass the oil and gas law. Let's look at this, guys. We have some newbies. Let's break this down. Okay, it's important to dissect these articles and know everything about it so you can see the importance of it. Why is it here? Okay, does this law, because the oil and gas is a law, does it have anything to do with the rate change? Is it waiting on the rate change, guys? These are the things. These are the layers of these articles that are important to understand. Okay, oil and gas law is oil profit sharing for the citizens. Okay. As you see, it's still outstanding. They haven't approved it yet. Okay. How long has this law been on the books waiting to be implemented? Well, since 2005. I know that for a fact. Okay. So the oil and gas law has been hanging around since 2005. Why hasn't it been implemented yet? It can't be. It's waiting for the rate change. That's why it's still outstanding. Okay. This law is still outstanding. It's waiting on the rate change. It cannot be. And so how do they implement it or activate it? Simply, they have to amend the Constitution and add it to it. So okay. So if they have to amend the Constitution to add it to it, why haven't they done so? Again, they can't. It's waiting on the rate change. The currency has to be internationally recognized for it to be implemented. Okay. So in order to implement it, they have to change the rate first. Then they can amend the Constitution, add it to it, and then they can implement it when the budget goes active, guys, on April 1st. Boom. There you go. Let's look at the article. A political agreement to pass the oil and gas law said in a statement that the political blocs are heading towards the passing of the oil and gas law after completing the laws of the federal Supreme Court and the federal budget for 21, pointing out that the law may be presented inside Parliament during the next week, guys. They're telling you they might do the oil and gas law next week. They're not. It'll never be done next week. I'll actually tell you how this is going to break down. Let me finish the article and then we'll get into that. He added that the law is of great importance of solving the outstanding problems between Baghdad and Erbil, and that the oil producing provinces, noting that passing it will achieve justice in the distribution of wealth in the revival of poor areas. He continued, the law enjoys great political support in Parliament and that there is a serious intention to settle it and pass it during the current legislative term. That's the only accurate part of this information, guys, is that they want it during the current legislative term, okay? Again, you've got to know how to discern these articles, all right? They will not do it next week. Let's talk about this for a second, guys. The budget, the actual rate change has to come first, flat out. So you guys have Iraq's giving you a window here, and I know most of you wouldn't be able to see that window. That's where I come in. What's the window? Well, the window is they have to change the rate first. Okay? They have to change the rate first, and I want you to think about this for a second. You can break this down, guys. Okay? They're showing you time frames here. Okay? Here's the window. They have to change the rate first. Then they would need time after changing the rate. Okay? They would have to change rate first. Then they would have to approve the budget. Not necessarily, I mean, they could approve the budget first. The budget doesn't have to happen before the rate change. It could happen quickly after, okay? Either way, the budget and the rate change have to happen. I'm not saying one before the other. Timing on that is irrelevant. They just need to get done. Once the budget's done and the rate is changed, then they can amend the Constitution, add the oil and gas law to it. Now, guys, all that has to be done by April 1st so it can be implemented, okay? So the oil and gas law, they're giving you a back wall on this. It would basically be the end of March. Iraq has to have the budget and oil and gas law, everything ready to go to be implemented April 1st, okay? It's that simple. So I want you to think about something here, guys. Right now, there's only about 2 weeks left in the whole month of March, okay? So I want you to think about something, guys. They've only got 2 weeks left to get all this done. So I'll just give you an example of a scenario. Here's just an example, okay? Let's say on Saturday the 20th, let's say they approve the budget, okay? Again, this is an example. This is not fact. So just an example. Let's say they do approve the budget on Saturday, March 20th. Let's say they change the rate on Sunday, March 21st. That leaves them the last week of March to get the Constitution amended, add the oil and gas law to it. Then they have everything dialed in and ready to go for implementation for April 1st. Everything's done already, guys. It's going to happen something similar to that, okay? So that's how it has to go down. They got it. The budget and the rate change will both just get done and happen first. Those two steps have to go first. Then once the budget and the rate change are done, then they can turn around, they can amend the Constitution, add the oil and gas law to it. Then they have it all ready to go, guys. All this has to be done and ready by the end of March, and that's why I've put an emphasis on it for you, because they have to have it ready for the fiscal year of April 1st. It's got to be all done by the end of March. That's why I've been telling you this through this whole quarter, that the end of March is your back wall, okay? Let's look at the next article. Kurdish delegation goes to Baghdad one day before the date to vote on the budget. Guys, they've put a huge emphasis on voting on the budget, guys, on Monday. Mark my words, it's not going to happen, okay? They will not be voting on the budget Monday because they have to hide the figures from you. Plus, if you notice, they haven't even shown you the agenda for the parliamentary session on Monday, okay? If they don't show you the agenda for Monday's parliamentary session, if they don't show you that agenda by tomorrow, Sunday, they're not voting on the budget Monday, guys. It's that simple. Let's look at the article. Leader of the Kurdish Democratic Party confirmed on Saturday that the Kurdish delegation, headed by Vice President of the Kurdistan Regional Government, Talabani, will go to Baghdad on Sunday. Kurdish delegation will return to Erbil tomorrow to hold intensive meetings with political blocs in an attempt to persuade them to vote on the region's share in the text of Monday's session. He added, "We have an agreement with the federal government. We have implemented the conditions requested by Baghdad regarding the delivery of oil and the proceeds of the border crossings, and we expect to reach an agreement with the political blocs that settles the controversy because it is impossible to go to vote on the budget with a majority system. The House of Representatives has set next Monday as a date for voting on the general budget, while the region's share is still the biggest obstacle to resolving the vote." So as you guys see right there, they just brought an excuse in at the very end in that last sentence. Okay? They just brought an excuse in as to why they might not be able to vote on the budget Monday. Mark my words, that is an excuse, and it's going to prevent them in their news. It's going to prevent them from voting on it because again, this is all scripted, guys. The budget's done. All these budget articles are fake news. Okay? But, you know, other gurus that quote these articles to you are just not smart enough to see that. They have to script the news. The budget's done. They have to hide the budget figures from you, okay? That you can't see it because, guys, it's calculated in billions, not trillions of dinar. It's all calculated off the rate change, okay? It's that simple. Sisi and the King of Jordan will soon be in Iraq. So what was one of the last big things that, that Jordan and Saudi Arabia and all those guys met with Iraq officials, guys, they were putting together trade agreements. It's all trade, economics, and business, guys. All right. It's all about business and money because Iraq's about to become international. A government advisor revealed on Saturday the imminent visit of the Egyptian president and the King of Jordan to Iraq. Political advisor Prime Minister Abbas said in a message via the Clubhouse app that the Egyptian president and the King of Jordan will visit Iraq soon to hold the tripartite summit, guys. That's economics and money, noting that the Iraqi government has a plan of action to bring about economic integration with Egypt and Jordan, guys. Got just more confirmation Iraq's on the cusp of going international. He added the discussions between Iraq, Egypt, Jordan, and Baghdad will focus on exporting Iraqi oil, industrial cities, and others. Iraq has an infrastructure linked and coherent with Jordan, and there is an intertwining of destinies with Egypt. There you guys go. Just more articles showing you that Iraq's on the cusp of jumping out into the international world, getting their economy launched and going with trade and so forth. The United Nations detects catastrophic effects of raising the price of the dollar against the dinar, guys. I have a feeling this article is going to prove that Benny's a giant moron. And remember, Benny came to you guys telling you that Iraq, and he put a huge emphasis on that article talking about Iraq adopting the 1460 devalued rate through the term of the 21 budget, guys. I have a feeling this article is this is from the United Nations. Okay. They do tell the truth. They don't lie. So they're telling you that increasing the dollar against the dinar is a bad economic step. Unlike Benny put a good emphasis on it as if it was a good step. So anyway, let's get going here. Let's see if Benny's called a moron in this. The United Nations World Food Program in Iraq revealed on Saturday that the price of a food basket has risen to 14%. That's after the devaluation, guys. Okay, remember I told you the devaluation can only remain a short-term step. After the devaluation of local currency against the dollar, while calling for formulating policies to increase the contribution of gross domestic product, the World Food Program monitors food prices, including the average food basket of 2,100 calories per day, said a representative of the World Food Program in Iraq. The statement reported by the official newspaper. 10% of people using coping strategies to help with their condition because they do not have enough food to eat. Of those 10%, about 35% buy cheaper food, and of the same 10%, about 27% buy food. He continued, the World Food Program is working during the current year to reach almost 850,000 people across Iraq through monthly support for the most vulnerable people, building resilience and school feeding programs, in addition to the government support, including digitization and the reform of the public distribution system for rations, food, and the of the work of the World Food Program is expanding in the south of the country where poverty indicators are among the worst. The poverty rate in Iraq is about 31%. He revealed the average price of a food basket has increased by 14% since the devaluation and is expected to remain at a new high level, which will directly affect the food and security of the vulnerable population in Iraq, especially the displaced, returnees, refugees, and other vulnerable Iraqis. Guys, let's look at that top sentence again. The average price of a food basket has increased by 14%. There you go, Benny. You're kind of an official dumbass and declared that by the United Nations, bro. I told you, devaluing the currency kills and ruins Iraq's economy. They cannot do it. And yet you preached it as gospel to people. Wow. Okay, there you go. Got an official moron declaration by the UN. The representative of the program said it is necessary to support imports of basic foodstuffs to help reduce the impact of the devaluation on the purchasing power of vulnerable Iraqis, and it will be necessary to formulate policies to increase the contribution to GDP from sectors other than oil and to reduce economic independence on oil exports by boosting domestic food production. Regarding the ration card items, he explained that according to recommendations of the National White Book for Iraq, focusing on the public distribution system on the most vulnerable people will be necessary to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the system and thus support most needy families by providing required foodstuffs monthly without the interruption. He pointed out that the data-based decision making the policy are also important, and it is necessary to monitor food security at the national level, and early warning systems link main data sets and determine when action is required, which will allow Iraq to respond proactively to food security needs. The representative of the United Nations World Food Program in Iraq explained, although the government has taken appropriate measures, humanitarian and development actors in the country also need to increase efforts to mitigate the impact of devaluation of vulnerable groups. Additional support from countries will also be needed, the donor at this time. So there you guys go. This article will prove to you Benny's an absolute moron. Sorry, Benny, but they just called you a giant dumbass and showing you how uninformed about this investment and economics you really are. All right, guys, good articles. As you see, those suspended laws, Article 140, oil and gas law, as well as the federal court law, guys, all this is waiting on the rate change, and it's coming forth now. So you guys are in the best position. We're golden. This thing's locked and loaded. You are right on the cusp of it. Hey, you guys are the best. God bless you guys. Have a great day.